Hey right bags, it's Jade today going over one of the dev worlds that we can access via data mining, showing off all the plans and stuff they had to do with buggies and taming. Now I did speak about this briefly in another video taking a look at ant armors and stuff, but I really want to show off this world because it's crazy. This is the kind of stuff devs are doing to test their own mechanics in the game engine world, to show off the lighting, the shadow, scale for size, pretty much how things react. Big shout out to the Data People crew for getting me access to this, and yeah, let's go and see what we got cooking. If you do want to see more of this though, make sure you come join my Discord. We've got special pages set up for data mining, as well as just regular stuff. Post pictures of your base, any art you've done, talking about Grounded 2 constantly, come join my Discord. So the way this works is you can basically find special files inside the game, which I'm pretty much simplifying, and each build, so each update that we get Grounded, there may be new files. On day 1 of Grounded going live, for about half an hour, these files were in the game. They got removed in the following updates. Now this isn't the first time I've gone into a dev world. In fact, it's one of the big things I did early on in Grounded 1's development. I think I was the first to show off the dev world in that game. And at the time it just showed off a little bit more crazy stuff, like they had just a testing area where we could see bones and different models and maybe some of the resources, and then there was another test world that had some pond content as well as other stuff that would eventually come in the future, and some that didn't. So that is something to remember. Everything you're seeing here may already actually be in the game, some of it, and some of it just might not actually pan out at all. They might cancel it and decide, you know what, it's not for me. But there's something super exciting at the end that I want to show you guys, because it's going to make lots of content for me. I'm planning to showcase and cover it a lot. But yeah, here you go. Press a button, get a Ladybug mount. Now obviously the turret, yeah, it's a work in progress, right? It's not going to look like this in the game. As said in one of my shorts and the little clips I've done, that there will be some sort of reimagining of it. But it's pretty interesting, and you get to play around as being an actual Ladybug, which is really cool. Still up in the air at the moment whether or not we're going to get this turret as just the one saddle that you can have on it, or you could maybe have another one. Due to the Data People squads, they showed that there was some files suggesting the Ladybug would be able to carry 6 grass planks. That seems quite low. A lot of you guys have had good ideas. I read one from Mushroom Fungwell, I think early on this morning, saying it should have a pallet on its back. Just like obviously we get the pallets that you can move around yourself. Well, imagine being able to have 2 of them. You could jump on a Ladybug and go ahead and still move a pallet like you would normally. That would seriously make it a competitor for having the most kind of stacks, especially with people building huge bases now. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that actually pans out. Last thing to mention is Jace found this one, and it seems to have like a roller, and I thought it was like a lawn roller, so I assumed it would maybe be able to collect grass or resources, maybe even break stones and just dump some of them resources directly into the Ladybug's inventory. But he was kind of a bit coy about it, so maybe it's actually got another use. Could it be a weapon where we just roll over enemies, given it's got more of a battlefield with the horn? And here we go, we're seeing obviously what the turret mode's like, and it's just like a regular turret that you've played in Grounded 1 or in Grounded 2, but never really used because they were always a bit rubbish. That's the thing that needs to change with Grounded 2. These need to be a little bit OP, or they need to actually work more consistently better. Previously, turrets would take some of the actual shots ammo from a box nearby, or the obvious thing there is to make it come from the Ladybug's inventory itself. But yeah, this stuff's cool. We can nuke any creatures, we can heal all, we can auto-tame nearest, but that never worked for me, so a lot of this stuff doesn't actually work properly. There's all the baits, the Ladybug, Spider Bug, Scorpion bait as well. And again, none of this stuff really worked that well, but you got all the 3 different varieties. So were they trying to maybe test to see if we could tame all sorts of variants of these creatures, the different sizes and ages? More than likely no, it's actually testing to see how effective bait would be in keeping them occupied. But again, in the game files, there are hints at a much bigger in-depth taming system potentially still coming to Grounded. There is Buggies 2.0 put on the roadmap for Grounded 2, so it definitely is going to have some new things added. And yeah, you can see the bait isn't working that well. It doesn't work that well in the game at the moment. Like, you're lucky if it keeps one ant maybe occupied if you're trying to go and get some eggs out the anthill. But yeah, this is obviously set up to test a lot of these types of features. Just give myself a bunch of armor there, and thankfully the Ladybug took care of business. So that is what the Ladybug is going to fulfill, this tank role, or perhaps maybe a carry role. It's got to be better than an ant, otherwise why would you ever use it since it's pretty slow? Although as we saw from some of the early footage, it can move relatively fast when you're holding that speed button, and maybe with mutations and stuff it could definitely go a bit quicker. But yeah, at some point the devs have been considering having actual food needed for your tames, so maybe this was part of it. It wouldn't be just chucking any kind of food, it would be actually having to make the bait. I think though, if they do something like that, they should just have it as any kind of meat, like any kind of cooked meat, maybe even rotten meat. And yeah, this system could come back into play where we may have different types of saddles, where we may have to feed them, where we may have to chuck bait down to tame them, especially some of the creatures that technically don't come from eggs, since scorpions don't. They just get born, right? And they cling on to their bodies, I do believe. Bear with me people, I'm not one of these bug experts. So that's something to bear in mind. And larvae as well, obviously they grow into ladybugs. So how are we taming these guys if we're not going to just pick up some eggs? I do like the tame system as it is now, but it is really simple. It does fit in though and gets us in the mode of really messing around and playing with the buggies, and that's what we need since the map's so large. But I wouldn't mind if they did develop a maybe slightly more complicated system for future buggies. So literally the ant and the all-weaver egg, that's pretty standard, that's okay, but any other creatures that come in, it might require a bit more work. Not 12 hours sitting there like in Art Survival Evolved, literally waiting for some tiny little dinosaur to be tamed. It could be cool if there was like a 10-minute kind of raid defense thing, so you would maybe have to put some barriers around your tame to stop other creatures from coming and attacking it while it's taming. But yeah, Ladybug is eating the bait here, but there was nothing that like popped up and said, hey, you've been tamed. And yeah, don't forget the Ladybug is meant to be coming in the winter update, which is either going to arrive right before Christmas at like the last few days, or it may be actually January or February. The rest of this test world was pretty cool. It's again showing all the different eggs that we've got at the moment with the all-weaver and the ant, and again just how you pick them up and stuff. You can spawn one in, and I'm guessing it's to show how they'll move around the world, come up against certain resources, the scale and size, whether they can collect things from things like the sap makers, or yep, indeed some of the pallets. Bit more of an Easter egg here is all the furniture returning from Grounded 1. It looks like either this is just placeholder stuff and they may revamp some of it, or they may just end up chucking it in eventually anyway. Obviously having to wait until tier 3. But one thing we might not be getting is the 60 slot storage chests from pine cones, since apparently the reward for killing Axel is going to be one of these types of chests. I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be a much nicer variant, and eventually we might still get some of the pinecone ones. But yeah, this is the reward, one of the rewards decor pieces we're going to get from Axel. So I do think this has been set up, like I said, for interaction with buggies, hence why it's here. It's not really anything more, just to see if they can access all the inventory, make sure it's tested for Q&A. Someone had a great idea, I think maybe Garrett, someone in the comments said that if we've got a fire ant buggy in the future, why don't we have it that they can resist the sizzle? And that's such a cool idea. If we do get maybe scorpion mounts as well, then maybe they can also resist the cold. And again, just some more bits here, how they use their abilities, although it wasn't actually working very well here with my soldier and not being able to actually chop through the roots. But you get the idea. And yeah, the ants actually having a good amount of resistance to the sizzle, obviously not showing that much on the actual health screen. It was reducing quite a bit, but yeah, it took a while, and obviously made them red. They even look like fire ants. It's what made me realise, I've seen some clips that I'd shown off earlier that showed different markings, but they weren't, they were just actually burn damage. And of course, yeah, eventually he got too hot to handle. But next is what I'm really excited for. Long back in the day, I started off bug battles, and Grounded 1, literally only a few weeks after its release, pretty much found a way to use the mods to spawn in certain creatures. But it was always a bit rubbish because they wouldn't actually attack each other half the time. There was only certain bugs that would. And I had to build my own arenas and stuff to keep them separate from everything else. So it was fun for 1 or 2 videos, but it was limited. Then Mudders Chudders come along and really made it something special, finding ways to aggro a lot of the creatures or just show what it's like taking on various bosses against other bosses, as they had the actual pieces in it that made them attack each other. Well, anyway, this has obviously got some other uses. It's meant to be for distance, I'm guessing, to fire off maybe shots with the All-Weaver, or how far the ant soldier can throw stuff and what kind of damage it can do at distance. Do believe the closer it is, the more damage it does. But yeah, getting sidetracked, this is the exciting thing. We can spawn in all sorts of bugs and they seem to all want to kill each other. You may notice in Grounded 2, quite a few of the bugs now actually do try and take each other out, although not all. But in here, I swear every button was making them fight each other. Which means, for me, bug battles are coming back, baby. Yes, I'm going to do some really baity shorts, of course, and videos taking a look. I just find this kind of stuff interesting. Something I did with Ark for a little while. Placing bets on which dinos would actually win, although they were always bred by actually my players that joined on my servers. How crazy is this? Just seeing an ultimate battle royale between all of the bugs. With this kind of setup, I can also test some of the other creatures, obviously like the Orb Weaver. I'm guessing though they won't probably update this in the future. We might not get a chance to see any more test versions showing maybe some of the other buggies that are coming, but it would be cool if it did. And yeah, be aware of danger. So yeah, I think this is really cool stuff. I can't wait to dive in more to these types of videos. I've got a lot more incoming. I'm going to be showing you more armor sets, also something to do with combat and some more bosses in the future. And if you want to become a member and support the channel, you get to see my Let's Plays exclusively, as well as some of these videos a bit earlier. So come and join and support, and make sure you join Discord as well. So until next time, Ratbags, big shout out to the Data Peeper squad again, and I'll see you Ratbags for bug battles incoming soon.